Hello to all! Welcome to a new video. Today I would like to talk about a different aspect or topic than I have usually talked in the previous videos. Well, I forgot to say, I hope you're fine. I hope you're healthy. I was thinking, I haven't asked if you're fine. So I hope you are good, especially healthy, and looking forward to come down to Spain. Well, as I was saying, I would like to talk about a different thing that I have talked before. And this is in case you are thinking about moving to Spain and you have children that they need to go to Spain. If you are considering about bringing your children to Spain, which school should I choose? How are the school system in Spain? Which are the options that I have? So these are the questions that I would like to answer today and maybe to talk about. And I hope that I can give you some tips and recommendations about this aspect. How could I start? I could start saying that the school system in Spain is not different to other school systems in Europe. But you must distinguish about three different kinds of schools. The first is the public schools. Then we have a semi-public school, which is half subsidized by the state and is called in Spanish concertados. And then private schools. If you are watching this video, you are maybe a foreign person that is considering about moving in Spain, and the main question that maybe comes to you is about the language, because if you don't speak Spanish and your children don't speak Spanish, maybe it's difficult to get into a Spanish school where everything is in Spanish. But you cannot forget that children learn in another way that we do adults. And the language can be a barrier some months, but they learn so quick that considering a Spanish school is also a good option. So if we come back to the three types of schools that we have talked, we have a public school, let's call them semi-public school, and private schools. Public schools are all the schools that the whole education and the whole activities are paid by the state. So once you enter in the school, you have to pay, you don't pay for anything. Then we have the semi-public schools that are traditional private schools in the past that, I don't know when the law was changed, I think it was in the 80s, they converted into semi-public schools. That means that the education is paid by the state. So you don't pay monthly for the education of your children. But the rest of the activities involved in the education, like, I don't know, some special sport, if your children want to play football or basketball or swimming, or maybe the food, or any other things, are paid by the parents. So it's a half-half system. The education is paid by the state and the extra activities are paid by the family, by the parents. And then we have the private schools, which are, everything is paid by the parents. And there is a huge offer of different schools. But the difference is that you have to pay for the education and for the activities that your children have in that school. Okay? So if you are considering about bringing your children to a Spanish school, you have these three options. When you consider a public school or a semi-public school, what we call concertado, you must know that you can apply to that school or to the system if you fulfill different requirements or under different circumstances you can do it. First of all, you need to be registered in the municipality where the school is located. You remember we have talked before in all the videos about to be empadronado, about empadronamiento. So you must be registered in that municipality. Okay. One important requirement is the level of your incomes. So you will need to present your tax declaration showing your incomes. And a third requirement can be if the children, well, if you have more than one child, yeah, and the brothers or the sister go to the same school. There are other circumstances. For example, if we are not talking about maybe about a family that is only supported by one of them because they have divorced and it's only paid by the father or the mother, or it's a family where it's only the mother or the father supporting all the costs of the family. So, and then also another discapacities of the child. So there are other circumstances that gives you points to get the access to the school. Okay. And finally, one important point is how near you live from the school. Okay, so if the school is located maybe just 400 meters from your house, you have more points than maybe another person that is a little bit more far away. If we talk about a private school, it's totally different. It's like it's a private institution where you can get access, yeah, by contacting the school, having a meeting with the principal or the directors, and explaining why you want to come or why you want to bring your child to the school, and the reasons can be very different. And I will talk a little bit later about why it's important or why it should be something to consider for you, especially if you're a foreign person, because in private schools you have a huge offer of different schools with orientation in different languages, which is also very important, maybe for a foreign family. Good, so just to remind, public and semi-public schools, you need to fulfill some requirements. Private school is free, so you can decide. The only thing, it costs you money, more money than a public or semi-public school. I cannot tell you which is the best option, but I can give you my opinion. The quality of the school system in Spain is a lot of discussed among us, the Spaniards, yeah? And we criticize the system. Some schools are better, some schools are not that good, and the system is old-fashioned and it's very important to memorize, and there are a lot of deberes, homeworks, yeah, that create a lot of stress at home. But I think that the school system in Spain is quite good. It has some points that we need to change. I think memorizing huge homeworks is one of them. But on the other hand, I think the school system is working quite well, and some schools are very good. So the only thing that I would say if I were you is that, okay, if I want to stay longer in Spain and I want my children to be educated in Spain, even if you bring them to an international school or a private school and not to a public school, is that make or try to get your children integrated among Spanish people, among Spanish children. Why? Because otherwise they will be in a bubble. And I don't think this is good. So if you want Spanish education, consider it. Have a look on it. Try to investigate which is the best school in the area, which is the school that corresponds to your property. It is difficult at the beginning, but once you start to ask and to know more, you will get it. Yeah. But if you decide to bring them to a private school, that make sure that your children maybe make an extra activity in football or in a sport or in chess or whatever it is that has contact to Spanish children, to Spanish families. Why? Because it will help them to get integrated, to learn better the language, and it will be also good for you because you will also meet Spanish families and you can get new friends and not just among the people that you know. Yeah? This is one idea. If we come to private schools, that is what my experience says, that most of my clients who decide to move to Spain, especially to this area in Costa del Sol, is the first option. I can say that especially here in Costa del Sol, the offer of private schools is huge, especially in areas like Marbella, where there are many, many good private schools. And some of them are considered one of the best schools in Spain. They have a very good reputation. The first point you must know is that they can be expensive. It costs some money to bring your children to the school. It varies from different prices, but check them and see if you can afford to pay them. Secondly is that try to find out which is the one that suits you better. Why? Because maybe your option is that they learn the language, your language, yeah? And for example, the option, if you are Swedish, you want to bring them to a Swedish school, which is good, and it's very good, but maybe they have Swedish at home with you, and maybe it's another option also to go to another school, but of course, the school in your language is a good option. As I say, the Swedish school, for example, in this area, we have different schools in Fuengirola and Marbella, is also a very good option. But there are German schools. There are a lot of English schools. So regarding the possibility to learn in your own language, there are many options in Costa del Sol. Then although the private schools are because they have a very good level of education. For example, here in Malaga City, there are a couple of them where they are supposed to have a very good level of education. And I think it's right. But check it. Don't let it just because you are recommended. Ask, investigate what it is. Yeah? So if I were you, because I must tell you, I have lived abroad and I have brought my children to a school when I lived in Stockholm. And it cost me very much to decide where. I did it through a Swedish school with help in Spanish. That because I thought it was good for my children because they spoke no Swedish. Yeah? But you, if you consider to live here for many years, you have the option now to investigate and check which is the best option. As I was saying, private school is the option that, of course, being foreigner, it will be maybe the easiest and the best for you. But what I want to say that if you want to live here permanently and you want your children to be educated in Spain, I do recommend that together with bringing them to an international school or to a private school, let's say international school, is that your children should also make extra activities where they meet Spanish children. I think this is very important because for them, they will have also Spanish friends, and for you as parents, will make you also meet other people, or especially Spanish people, that can be also good for your integration. And of course, if you decide to go to a Spanish school, public or semi-public, don't be afraid of that. They are good options. They are very good schools. Only that at the beginning will be difficult for you to get information about them. But if you live in Spain, and if you live if you live in one city here in Spain, or especially here in Costa del Sol, what I would do is to check with teachers working in different schools, ask Spanish people, try to find out the information that maybe gives you the... Good. So that was my video today. It was different ideas and different experiences. Yeah? And first, I would recommend you to come to Spain if you want and you want to live here. As I say, the school system works very well. And the third point, I hope this video has helped you a little bit to know more about the Spanish school system. Keep healthy and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.